How would I explain Agile to a 5-year-old? Well, you see, in the old days, people built software using a process that took real long to deliver results. And sometimes it never even delivered results. They toiled and didn't have much to show for it, except a lot of unnecessary things at times. So imagine wanting to build a wonderful Lego creation that you have in mind. In the old days, you'd have to draw a detailed and precise picture of the three-dimensional, all the blocks, all the different things that you have in mind for this diorama, let's say. Then you'd have to write down all of the steps and the instructions to build this. You'd have to figure out all of the blocks and the different types that you would have to make. And then, of course, you'd have to make all of the different blocks. And typically, in this old style, you would do all of this, one type of block, and then you'd build all of the next types of blocks. And, slowly you'd end up with a collection of blocks to fit the type of creation that you wanted to build. And then you would refer back to the instructions, and for each step, now you would go back and find all of the specific blocks for that steps and possibly put them in nice, neat little piles. And then finally, after all of this would probably be days and days, of course, assuming you can make Lego blocks, but let's just pretend you have an injection molding machine, even though a 5-year-old probably doesn't know what that means. But finally, you're able to start at step 1 and start building. So you begin, you have all the pieces in place and you go through the instructions. Let's say by step 3, you start looking at it, you discover a mistake was made. Maybe the blocks weren't right, maybe the instructions were wrong, but the mistake happened days ago, earlier in the process. So now you have to go fix that. Or worse, sometimes you completed all of the steps and what you see is not what you expected. It doesn't match the original drawing. Now what? Of course, that's an exaggeration for effect, but not uncommon in the old days of waterfall, where they literally built things that ended up not being useful. And it took long to figure that out. Every step of the way seemed right, because they didn't truly have any way to tell it was right. So Agile development came along, and I had experience doing that old style, and I also created a new style of development that sought to, quite simply, only do as much as was needed. I'd like to say be a little lazier. Only sketch as much as you need, build as much as you need. Don't wait to do it all, thinking that you know exactly what you need. Figure out just the minimum to take that first step and build something towards your creation, and that each of those small steps you add a little more. And does it still look like we expect? If not, you make a small change and try again. So the errors that you can make are very small, and the effort that you can do next is also very small. So at its core, Agile is about reducing the gap in time between doing something and seeing the result. Hence, it's much more fun because you get to see something growing, and it's not nearly as prone to produce the completely wrong thing at the end. So that's Agile for a 5-year-old. Thank you.